Hey everybody, Joshua Hofford here with Wind Ministries. Just behind me, we're in Goa right now, old Goa in India. Just behind me is a historic church. It's the Church of St. Francis of Assisi. One of the things St. Francis of Assisi, one of the statements that he made that was so influential or so commemorated was, go into all the world and preach the gospel, and if you need to, use words. When you look at the early church and the early church fathers, it's not that they didn't use words, but this idea of being the love of Christ in the world was absolutely central to the idea of the gospel. When you look in the Desert Fathers, there's many, many stories of great men and women who did great acts of love and service on behalf of the gospel. And that it was the lifestyle that they lived that motivated them, the love of Christ in their heart, forming their heart, and that love coming out when they came in contact with the poor, the downtrodden, the sick, all of these things. There's a particular early church father whose name in the Desert Fathers, his name was Abba Agathon, Father Agathon. And when Father Agathon was going to the city one day to sell the baskets and the mats that he wove to make a living, he passed a sick man on the side of the road. And in seeing the sick man, nobody was taking care of him. So Agathon carries the sick man with his baskets and his mats to the city and sells his baskets and his mats, uses the money to rent an apartment for 4 months in the city to nurse this sick man back to health. See, that is, go into all the world and preach the gospel, and if you need to, use words. The gospel was all about declarations of the love of God and then demonstrations of love and power. Paul said he didn't come with wise and persuasive words, but he came with demonstrations of the Spirit and power. And the demonstration of the Spirit is the act of love, the pouring out of yourself, just as Jesus demonstrated on the cross, the pouring out of yourself on behalf of others. And the early church was marked with stories like this, and throughout Christian history it's been marked by stories like this. So the gospel is supposed to impact your heart in such a way that you live a life of service, pouring yourself out on behalf of others, and that is the mission of the church.